to talk to you. David Veneski, 14 years at Intel. He is the U.S. Media Director at Intel Corp. Why should you care about Intel? Obviously, they're a great brand, but not only that, they're the largest semiconductor company in the world. Not only that, you know how they power the internet. Think for a second how much they power mobile. They are really Intel inside, and Intel processors are in all the data clouds at Amazon and Google and Facebook, and they really make mobile work. So that's very exciting. And we've got Meghaan Blauvelt, 5.5 years at Nestle. Nestle is the largest food company in the world, and the best part is Meghaan started on the brand side and actually marketed a couple brands. Drumstick, everybody remembers Drumstick? It's summer, it's hot, you get a drumstick. Come on, everybody, give it up for Drumstick. Come on. Drumstick and Intel. So welcome to David and Meghaan. I'm going to start, this is really a deep question. Good, got your attention. Meghaan said to me, you know, when you ask people about mobile, it's like asking about their religion. So I'm going to ask a religion question, Meghaan. How do you define mobile? And I'm not going to say how much you're planning to spend this year, but just how do you define mobile? That's your, you said to me in the back, it's like the religion question to people.
It totally is. Once you ask somebody how to define mobile, that sets the rest of the conversation. It's like, so, who's your God? So my God of mobile is medium instead of media. And as a brand personality and interactive strategist, when a brand says, hey, I want to be mobile first, defining that as a content strategy instead of a media strategy, earning those mobile impressions instead of just buying them for the cheapest dollar, that to me is what mobile is, should be, and will increasingly be for the brands that win.
David?
Totally agree with that. We're on board with content. We lead with content. We tell the brand story, and we push it cross-device with mobile being, you know, a key device for us to actually amplify that story out.
So a lot of people this morning and today have been talking about ROI, and we're talking more without coming out with a word, have been saying more direct response advertisers. David, what's your feeling about how brands can really embrace mobile?
You know, for us, I mean, you can try and attach an ROI to any sort of media that you push out. For us, we're in a brand year. Last year, we were in a demand year. So last year was all about getting that physical, tangible ROI, attributing sales to every single media activity we put out in the market. This year, it's about reinvigorating the Intel brand, showing how Intel makes your life better, how, you know, kind of reminding people that we are the innovation powerhouse that you spoke about when you introduced me. Mobile is a perfect channel for that. Obviously, it's, you know, with the phone, it's something that's with you all the time. You're checking it multiple times a day for every single activity in your life. Tablet, I think, is a different form of mobile. I would never bucket phone and tablet in the same umbrella of mobile. Very, very different usage from our perspective, and you can tell your brand story a little bit differently on both.
Meghaan, I'm going to come to you in a second. I just want to follow up one thing on that. You guys probably have one of the most iconic brand campaigns of all time. The Intel Inside campaign has an iconic tone to it. You've got the musical bars to it, which don't ask me to sing it because I'm tone deaf. You've got the television commercials that everybody knows about. You've got phenomenal print campaigns everybody knows about. Let's talk about mobile in the integrated media mix. How do you guys raise that up and make mobile across everything you're doing?
Yeah, we don't actually go after mobile from an individualized medium. We think mobile is pervasive within our entire media campaign. So interweaving mobile into every other app touch point from media is really important to us. We will be doing mobile touch points that interact with our TV campaign, interact with our digital campaign, interact with our print campaign in some form or fashion. And it's a great ability to do, you know, almost the snackable portion of your media campaign on a device that people are looking at constantly.
Cool. So Meghaan, let's shift over to you. A little bit different from Intel. One of the neat ways to juxtapose, you've got Haagen-Dazs and drumsticks, right? So you've got the high-end Haagen-Dazs and you've got the ubiquity of drumstick. How do you think about those brands and their place in mobile? What are your brand managers thinking?
Yeah, I think, again, as long as you start from content, it's actually a lot easier. Because if you think about Haagen-Dazs, and it's a pure equity message. They've got this badge brand They've got this huge equity, hi-fi production, all this other stuff. You got drumstick. Everybody has eaten a drumstick. We just wish you would buy it again since that time you ate when you were 8. That was the last time, according to science, that you ate it. And those are two different content strategies, two different storytelling methodologies. But mobile, just as was said over here, is interweaved into that content strategy. And it's not about treating a smartphone exactly separate from a tablet, exactly separate from your print ad. It's about making sure that your content strategy can tell that one thing, tell it many ways, in many places, but tell it very well and tell that one thing. And so that's how we leverage mobile, is to make sure that they're in the right place at the right time.
The same follow-up question to David. How do you work that into your integrated media mix? You don't have that iconic brand commercial that they have, and you've got how many different brands? You're the largest food company in the world. So you have 100 or so brands? It's a tremendous number of brands.
Nestle has thousands of
brands. How do you think about the integrated media mix? How do you push the agencies to be that thoughtful for you to not be the agency inertia of, well, it's just TV or it's just print? How do you bridge that with so many different brands?
No, it is really hard. And you have to we talk about brand purpose, brand mission, right? A lot. And so if your brand mission is singular, it's a lot easier to have that one content strategy and then see it manifest in medium-specific methodology. So a good example would be, when we go back to Haagen-Dazs, because I think that's generally an awesome brand to pick, and they'll have these hi-fi production in terms of video. Well, you're not going to put video on a smartphone because all of our research tells us nobody really wants to see that pre-roll ad on a smartphone. But on a tablet, it's not only a positive experience, it's actually an immersive experience. People are on their tablet. You and I were talking about this before. My wife watched like all of the seasons of, I think, Game of Thrones on her tablet, and it was just her.
Oh, that's a good show.
I know, it's excellent.
Right.
It is coming.
Winter is coming.
Right around
Sorry, that's an inside joke. Come on, you gotta be media people here. Come on.
So as she's watching these shows on her tablet, being able to have a Haagen-Dazs commercial come up actually feels right. The adjacency makes sense, and it helps to tell the story. So as long as you have that singular brand purpose, and you focus on delivering that purpose with the materials, the mediums actually fall into place pretty naturally.
So a lot of the panels today that we've sat and everybody in the audience listened to, they, one way or another, have said mobile is hard to measure. Do you feel that that's true? Do you feel that that's agency inertia? How do you guys feel about that?
So I think, you look at something that Chris Anderson said back in 2010, former editor at Wired. I think that there's really two different forms of mobile. There's the mobile web and then there's the app economy. So with the app economy, you can measure it with downloads, engagements, usage, etc. But it's very much a walled garden. And with the mobile web, it's less walled. It's more based on exploration. I think you definitely measure those two differently. It's hard to get the confluence there to measure everything that you're doing in mobile under one kind of statistically relevant set of KPIs.
So is that a call for publishers to find some standards? I mean, there is the IAB-MMA standard on an impression. Is that a plea, if you will, from marketers that you've got to make it easier for you guys to be able to make those strategic decisions?
It's not I'm falling off a cliff plea. It's a nice to have. I think that we can measure engagement and interaction with our mobile experiences pretty well already if you know what you're looking for and what you're trying to achieve. You can back a lot of things into any stat. It's just you have to understand what your goal is in mobile and go towards that singular measurement versus trying to accomplish everything with a mobile campaign.
Meghaan, what do you think?
I completely echo his sentiments. I think one of the big things for me actually is that brand managers will find something that is measurable and then infer that it's actionable or important, right? So a good example is click-through rates. If I have another presentation where an agency presents a click-through rate to me, knowing that that has zero
You're
correlation.
going to throw a drumstick right over their head.
I swear. I'm just gonna
Take that drumstick.
Yeah, exactly. No, not gonna hurt the drumstick. It's awful. It's just, you know, you have these marketers who are getting so passionate and so invested in digital, especially mobile, which is awesome. And then they'll find some number, and they'll be like, oh, I heard about this number. It's the thingamajig. And the thingamajig needs to be over 2%. And you say, well, what's your intended response? Well, I don't know, but I know it needs to be over 2%. And then it just circles from there. You need to, again, pull up, folks. It's not a plea off the cliff. It's a nice to have. And we can infer a lot of what we need to infer from the existing data that we have. We just need to pull out the data that's honestly just there because it's a number, not because it's interesting or actionable.
Here's my goal. Across any media program that we run, do you recognize our brand? Did we make your life better? Will you buy us?
So that's awareness and affinity, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to get. Now let me, and I don't think you do this, so jump in and hit me if I'm wrong, but I doubt that Intel coupons, but you do coupon, or couponing is part of the lexicon of
We
food.
run promotions. I mean, we do. We work with our retail partners to run promotions. We're not giving $2 off a processor. We could.
But you could.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it would move the needle that much.
How about you do something like in Best Buy when they're blocking showroom and give them a discount if they buy the Intel Inside product?
Hey, that's you know, with Shopkick has done stuff like that. iBeacon out there.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Marketplace now. Yeah, and what's interesting, I'll give Brian Wong from Keep a little bit of a nod on this. You know, iBeacon is not. Apple's done another great job of branding something that's been available for a while with low energy Bluetooth. They just have taken advantage of that technology and put an I in front of it and made it sound cooler than it actually is.
Yeah, but the design of the little thing on the wall is really cool.
Right, but you know, there's something that brands, especially a brand like Intel, being an an ingredient brand, you know, that 0 mile decision, that last 3 feet from checkout at the register, we don't get a lot of data back from that. You know, the OEMs are getting the data. The retail partners obviously understand the data. They're not want to share a lot of that kind of last 3 feet. We can track a lot of things through just based on, you know, doing floodlight tags on banner ads, driving to a brick and mortar, or driving to a virtual storefront. But they're not really sharing that last bit of data. Did somebody actually buy it, put it in their shopping cart, and take it home? With iBeacon, if we can, or any kind of in-store, marry the physical with the digital and make a purchase decision that much more
That'd be pretty cool.
probable, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. That's a wonderful
Not
picture.
my child.
Definitely not my child. Not my child either. So Meghaan, let's talk about coupons. Do you think? I'd be in a lot of trouble. Do you think coupons? Oh, come on, Barrett. No, you're pinch hitting here. You're throwing cute babies up on the screen. How's the guy supposed to compete with that? It's a mobile ROI of 0 for me, buddy. Let's talk about coupons with Nestle. What do you think about, you hear people talk about, they're going to go in the store. Their phone's going to say, you're in aisle 5. There's the San Pellegrino. Here's your coupon. Buy me. Really?
Yeah, so.
What do you guys think about that? Largest food company in the world.
Yeah,
for all you couponers out there.
Just
Largest food
thing,
company in the world.
So I can tend to be opinionated sometimes, so I'll apologize and cite these opinions are specific to me. So if I look at mobile coupons, they're trying to mimic the consumer experience that consumers are used to. They save money. That is what consumers use coupons for. Consumers also use them to remind themselves. So the textual experience of having a coupon, of getting your Sunday newspaper, knowing that it has coupons, cutting that out yourself, learning what the new products are. That experience is dead, right? The new generation is not going to have that experience anymore. So they're going to know coupons as a mobile experience. And it's sort of up to us to define what is that experience beyond saving money. Because if you're just trying to save me money, I can work with my sales guys and just put more money into they are scalable and yet individualized. I need to make sure that they remind, that they add value, and that I understand that I'm not just throwing money away at the end of the day because they're just trying to save money at Safeway.
So how do you reimagine couponing in a mobile millennial world?
Serendipitous moments.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about it. How does it work? I mean, my 16-year-old and 14-year-old aren't going to think about, and they were never that cute as babies. How are they going to think about coupons? Because everybody thinks about coupons. How are they going to think about? They live on their iPhones. They live on their Android
so
phones.
what do they do on their iPhones? And
YouTube game cheats for video games.
So okay, use that as an example.